Football is full of stories that never make it into the match reports. The stuff that happens off the pitch, before the career starts, or in the moments that don't fit neatly into a highlight reel. Football, for everyone, is here for exactly those stories. The ones that remind you these are real people, not just names on a shirt. Here are 6 of them. We've shuffled the order because none of them are more important than the others. They're all genuinely wild. Aaron Ramsey, the curse that keeps getting harder to dismiss. Start with the one that sounds like a joke. Aaron Ramsey scores a goal. Within days or hours, a famous person dies. That is the pattern. It started getting noticed around 2011, when the timing seemed like a strange coincidence. Then it happened again. And again. By the time Ramsey had scored 64 career goals, fans and journalists had documented 23 of them, with a direct link to a celebrity death, occurring the same day, the day after, or within the same week. The list includes actors, musicians, athletes, and public figures from across the world. Sports journalists who set out to write the "this is obviously nonsense" article found themselves hedging more than they expected. The correlation is statistically unusual. The causation is, of course, impossible. But the human brain doesn't always separate those two things cleanly. Fans started a petition asking Ramsey to retire from football to stop the deaths. It got real signatures every time he scores. It trends on social media. He has never addressed it. His clubs have never addressed it. Football, for everyone, isn't going to tell you what to believe. But we will say that the list is still growing. Kevin De Bruyne, the assist his friend made that he never could. Kevin De Bruyne is one of the greatest creative midfielders of his generation. His passing range, his vision, his ability to find the right ball at the right moment. It is what makes him special, which makes it genuinely funny that the most important pass of his life was made by someone else, without his knowledge, using his phone. In 2013, De Bruyne was a young player with a modest social media following, and a very specific problem. He had noticed a girl who had liked one of his tweets, and he was completely unable to bring himself to message her. He showed the notification to his friend. His friend told him to go for it. De Bruyne said no. His friend grabbed the phone and sent the message anyway. She replied. They started talking. A few years later, they got married. De Bruyne has since won multiple Premier League titles, a Champions League, and just about every individual award a midfielder can win. His friend has received none of these things, despite making the single most consequential decision of De Bruyne's personal life. Football, for everyone, considers this a significant injustice. Neymar, the day he gambled the electricity money, before the sponsorship deals and the private jets. Neymar was a kid. He was in Sao Paulo, whose family was genuinely poor. Not humble beginnings poor, in the way that gets romanticized. Actually poor. Actually one missed payment away from losing the lights. 1 month, his father forgot to pay the electricity bill. On the last day before the power would be cut, his dad had to work. He gave his son the money and trusted him to go pay it. On the way to the payment office, Neymar walked past a raffle. The prize was his dream car, so he spent the electricity money on a ticket. He didn't win, and his father came home to find the electricity company at the door. The punishment that followed was, by all accounts, thorough. The comment sections on this story always produce the same response. If I did what Neymar did, my parents would have disowned me, which is fair. But there is also something very recognizable about a kid who, given one moment of freedom and a once-in-a-lifetime shot at something he wanted, took it, even knowing the consequences. That instinct to go for it, even when the odds are bad, is probably the same one that made him a footballer worth watching. Cristiano Ronaldo, the concert nobody could explain. In 2013, Ronaldo was at Real Madrid, breaking records and becoming famous. He had become one of the most photographed people on the planet. The paparazzi documented everything. So when he showed up at a Rihanna concert, it was noticed. When photos of the two of them together started circulating, the media did what the media does. A reporter eventually got the chance to ask Rihanna directly whether she and Ronaldo were in a relationship. Her answer was not a denial, and the story spread everywhere. Ronaldo's response was to post a photo with a friend, caption just married, clearly enjoying the chaos, rather than trying to shut it down. Whether there was a genuine story behind the concert, or whether the whole thing was public theater, Ronaldo played it perfectly. He gave people just enough to keep talking, without ever confirming anything. He kept us guessing. The most interesting part of this story isn't what may or may not have happened. It is that Ronaldo, a man who controls his public image with extraordinary precision, chose to lean into the rumor rather than correct it. That is a level of comfort with chaos that goes well beyond football. Zlatan Ibrahimovic, the parking habit that attracted a hitman. Zlatan Ibrahimovic has never done anything quietly, and his time at La Galaxy was no different. He arrived, declared himself the best player in MLS history, without a trace of irony, and largely backed it up. Around his 38th birthday, he bought himself a Ferrari Monza Speep 2. $1 million, open top, 2-seat machine. A reasonable birthday present, by Zlatan's standards. The car was fine, but the parking was not. Zlatan had a well-known habit of parking, wherever he felt like it, across lines, in other people's spots, in the middle of streets. One afternoon, he left the Ferrari blocking a road. A man saw him do it. A man who had been evading law enforcement for 7 years. During an active killing spree, he drove home, picked up a weapon, and came back. Zlatan was gone. The man was later arrested after publicly admitting he had wanted to kill Zlatan, specifically to become famous. He went to prison, and Zlatan continued his career. The Ferrari presumably still exists. The comment sections on the story always land on the same joke. Zlatan wasn't followed by a hitman. Zlatan followed the hitman. It is funny because it captures something real. Zlatan has always moved through the world as if the normal rules of consequence don't apply. In this case, they genuinely didn't. Emmanuel Adebayor, the football that did what medicine couldn't. This is the one that has no rational explanation. And football, for everyone, isn't going to pretend otherwise. Emmanuel Adebayor was born in Togo, and from birth, doctors told his family something was seriously wrong. His legs didn't function, and the cause was unclear. Mysterious was the word used. His parents spent years traveling across Africa, looking for a cure, consulting doctors in multiple countries. Nothing worked, so eventually they turned to faith. 7 days and 7 nights of prayer at their church. On the 7th day, still nothing had changed. Then, some children outside started kicking a football around. Adebayor noticed. He stood up. He ran after the ball and joined the game. No gradual improvement, no medical intervention. Just a child who couldn't walk, suddenly running. He went on to play in the Premier League, the Champions League, and the Africa Cup of Nations. He became one of the wealthiest athletes Africa had ever produced. No doctor has ever explained it. The church has never claimed full credit. The comment sections on this story split cleanly between people who see it as a miracle and people who think he simply hadn't been motivated enough. Both interpretations are interesting. Neither one fully explains what happened. What is not in dispute is that a football was involved, which, for football for everyone, feels like the right place to end. 6 stories, 6 players. Leave a comment below with the one that hit you hardest. Football for everyone reads every single one.